Where yesterday I was absolutely starving. So after comrades, we've decided to do the next video is going to be something a little different. So for the next video, we have decided to go into something which is a bit of a different journey, but is a diet and running video. So in this video, we are going to do a protocol designed by an Australian gentleman, which is basically going to be more like a vegan diet for running. Now, we've seen a lot of stuff about this, Harrison and I, on the internet recently, and it's become a bit of a sort of trend of people jumping on the trend of increased carbohydrates during exercise. So we thought it'd be super interesting just to see how we perform in terms of physical activity. Harrison on the bike, me on running, just in the next 4 weeks, and we're going to do a 4-week vlog to see how we perform on this diet. So I'll dive into a little bit about what the diet's going to be like. So obviously I'm not a professional athlete. This isn't going to mean that I'm going to get my contract ripped up or anything. It's just something to do as a little fun experiment. Obviously this isn't medical or dietary advice. For that you need to speak to a proper nutritionist, which, you know, just always important to say. You're not just going to jump on what someone does just for the sake of it. Obviously I am doing something similar, but I feel like I'm fairly confident and hopefully know what I'm doing. It might go badly. If it doesn't, you know, that's good, and if it does, then well, I'm sure we can sort that out after. Obviously telling a few people that I'm going to be doing this, the first thing that they have said to me is, you know, what if, you know, what are the what ifs basically? Well, the way I look at it is I've basically eaten more or less the same way for about 5 years. And you know, nothing's really changed drastically. I would say my body fat percentage as I've trained more has went up and down, and you know, there's not really been anything drastic or any sort of major changes. So I'm not overly worried, I think is what I'm trying to say about like jumping onto the diet. It's not like I'm just going to drastically overnight get sick. Eating in this way with majority carbohydrates, you know, this I'm trying not to use the word the vegan lifestyle, because most of it is cutting out animal products totally, as people have been doing it for, you know, 20-30 years and obviously had no ill effects as long as you're supplementing with the correct supplements, so it should be pretty decent. Obviously I think the first thing that happens is people hear that word vegan and all of a sudden assume, you know, the worst, assume, you know, you're doing it for some sort of moral stance. They immediately get defensive, but I think that life's short, might as well try some things out, see how it goes. I'm not a vegan activist and I don't think I ever will be. I've just came back from South Africa, when you've seen in the last video, where I basically ate nothing but red meat for about 2 weeks. Part of me thinks that this might be a good restart, just to not as a sort of jump on a fad diet to sort of restart everything, because there's probably no such thing as a cleanse, but just to sort of limit the consumption of all the different meat products that I was eating. And then I'm just excited to see. I am jumping into a new marathon block with Berlin Marathon just being announced, so excited to head out over there, and I am going to go for hopefully a marathon PB. So hopefully if my legs hold up after the ultra, we can get after it and do some good stuff. But hopefully you follow along, find it interesting, and should be. So this is what we're starting out with, a starting body condition. So obviously you can see the last couple of weeks definitely put on some extra weight and stuff, so especially body fat, eating lots of different stuff. So today is basically the first day. I did have the flight over yesterday where I did actually start doing it, but you know, obviously with the plane travel you don't really know exactly what you want to do. One of the main things I want to do is avoid processed foods, so I'm definitely going to be cutting them out, which unfortunately on the plane that was really unavoidable. But excited to get this journey underway, and hopefully we'll be able to tune in with a weekly one, and then we can see how the progress is going. You'll have to avoid my toes there. You can see I've come back slightly heavier. 91 kilos is not a great starting point. That is 6 kilograms heavier than when I left 17 days ago for South Africa. So there's some serious damage being done there. I'm literally quite shocked. But I mean, it is what it is. Well, at least we've got our starting point. As you can see, I've only slept about 3 hours. So you can see the bags under my eyes. That's not a good start, but I'm laughing because I know it can only get better from here. So just finished the morning ride with the guys. It was really good. This is the first time I've trained on the new diet, so also first time that I've really done any sort of meaningful exercise since Comrades. So it's hard to say whether I felt bad because of the diet or I felt bad because of the Comrades. Obviously coming back from lovely South African temperatures into the temperatures here. It's 41 degrees now, and it's only I think just a little after 8 o'clock, so obviously all that's going to have an effect. Anyway, we press on. We have got breakfast, banana. So this morning for breakfast I had 3 bananas and about 6 dates. I didn't buy the expensive dates, I just bought really cheap ones, but they were really good for breakfast. I also followed the protocol. So one of the things that we need to do, just because we're increasing carbohydrates, is we need to make sure that we're increasing our water consumption. So I had about 1 litre of water. The only thing that I added into it was electrolyte powder, and I also added in my mushroom powder from Get Filth, which is just a cordyceps. It's like a natural pre-workout. To be honest, I really enjoy that. That's probably one of the only products that I'll just carry on taking, especially as it's also plant-based. But yeah, feeling good. So this is day 2, 89.4 kilograms. So 89.4. Obviously most of that is probably just water weight, and probably just the fact I've been sweating, but I'm just going to document my weight for each of the days, just to make sure that I'm being open and honest how it goes. Just got back from the cycle that I mentioned there, and yeah, felt like rubbish, but we move. Today's breakfast: 1 whole melon, some blueberries, bacon. So in terms of what the diets look like today, it's been pretty much the same thing. Fruit in the morning before we went to the running session, although I wasn't training today. I was just doing a little warm up and then just coach the session. Today's lunch, not really ideal. Still stuck to the carbohydrates and fruits. Although basically there wasn't enough fruits in the place that we were working from, had the cafe, so I had to sort of pivot. Which I had a oat milk porridge, which is obviously oats, which is still carbs, which is technically still okay, as cereals are still acceptable, although it's not really ideally what I want to stick with. So a bit of a mess up. As you've seen there, just on the scale, we're looking at 89 kilos for the day. Obviously trending in the right direction, which is good. But yeah, going to do a little training later on, a nice walk on the incline on the treadmill, and yeah, hopefully get a nice dinner later, which I'll show you should be potatoes and vegetables, so that should be good. So today 87.2, which is ridiculous. I will say though that today I've been feeling massively hungry. So I've just had the second meal, which is my lunch. I feel absolutely starving, which is the first time since Sunday that I've felt like this. But basically, it's all going well. Obviously, things are trending in the right direction. Ultimately, the scale doesn't lie, so that's really good. One of the things that people say when they're doing like a weight loss or a sort of diet thing, is they tend to avoid the scales. But I'm of the opinion that if you're trying to do something, surely you would focus on the scales. Weigh yourself at the same time every day. If it's trending down, that's good. Then obviously you know you're doing something right. If it's trending up, then you're doing something wrong. To weigh yourself like once every 2 weeks or something is a bit mental to me, because you're trying to get better at that thing or try and lose something. So that's just my philosophy. Come at me in the comments if you think that's wrong, but I personally think that's right. So weighing in today, we're weighing in at 87 still, which is the same as yesterday. I will say yesterday on the ride that we did, I felt absolutely class. Like, it was probably one of the best I've ever felt on a ride, to be honest with you. And yeah, just absolutely buzzing with it. Felt full of energy. Obviously all the excess carbs. I mean, I'm literally eating more carbs per day than I normally would eat on like a marathon carb load. So obviously a bit mental. Sleep has been good. Resting heart rate is down. They're all the positives. Negatives were yesterday I was absolutely starving. I literally could have eaten. I was craving all the worst things you can imagine. McDonald's, whatever, all the fatty burgers. Like, your body's literally just craving fat. And also yesterday I had like extreme gas build up in my stomach. And honestly, it was like one of the worst, most uncomfortable feelings, but that seems to have gone away today. The bloating seems to have gone down a bit. Just had lunch, which, to be honest, I've been working since the morning, since like 7 in the morning. And I've got meeting at 1 and then a meeting at 2. So I just gulped down some cereal. For breakfast this morning, I had 3 bananas and also some pomegranate, which was quite nice. I had some cereal there, which is obviously not ideal. It does still fit the diet, which is normally generally approved if you're doing intense exercise. But today I've done absolutely nothing except for work. So probably going to have to get some steps in later. Obviously, with it being absolutely roasting outside, that's going to be pretty difficult. But anyway, it is what it is. So on Friday night, we had our running club night out, so I was feeling a little worse for wear and ended up missing my Saturday morning cycle session, but I figured that movement would be some decent medicine, so decided to head to the warehouse gym at Jumeirah Park and try and get a session in. This session really has nothing to do with the diet. It's more just me trying to get some nice light movement in and do a bit of strength at the same time. Also, our friends were doing a 24-hour rowing workout, so managed to get in and get that done. Obviously, you can see that I struggled on that weight there, so we decided to go down. I must apologize for the angle of this filming. Filming in gym workouts is something that I'm not really that strong at. As you can see, you're just looking straight down the barrel there, which is not ideal. Absolutely crazy, this gym facility that they've built here in Dubai Science Park for Warehouse Gym. It's just absolutely mad. There's literally every single type of equipment you could want, and for most of the part there's at least 2 of them, so it's just absolutely crazy. The session lasted about 20 to 30 minutes, just did some real basic upper body stuff. Legs still not feeling 100%, but it was really good to get out there and actually get something done. Although I wasn't feeling the absolute best because of a bit of a headache, let's just say. We struggled a bit. Really good to get out there and support the guys, though, for their efforts for men's mental health, which was super good. A 24-hour row is probably something that might actually negatively affect their mental health, but never mind about that. The guys were looking and feeling positive, and it was amazing to see them out there absolutely smash the rowing. So fair play, different type of endurance challenge, but definitely something that's absolutely worthwhile, and absolutely fair play to them, because I know I definitely couldn't do it. Here's Lewis here absolutely smashing his row. I think he's about 2 hours in, so fair play to Lewis. He's absolutely smashing it. Mad respect for this. And then I went and had lunch with the guys, Manan, and there's Stephen there. So that meal there was a mushroom poke bowl, so white rice, mushrooms, put some like bean sprouts and some different things in there too. So obviously it was a real good meal, good carbs. Supposed to be going to try and do a bike session tonight, but I am literally completely shattered. And we've got first run of the marathon block tomorrow, so that's exciting. I think it might be best if I just rest up, but hopefully join tomorrow. The next clips will be few different bits of runs, and we'll get a recap of how the diet's gone, what's the total weight loss, etc. Did weigh myself this morning, 87 still. Obviously that is with like just trying to destroy my liver last night, so probably not great, but I mean, yeah, anyway, we live and learn. Actually, we don't learn, but we live. So we are on the way to a rowing event at Dubai Science Park Warehouse Gym. The diet was a bit off yesterday, still stuck with the foods, but we had a event with the running club, and we basically went out and had some drinks, which was obviously a lot of carbs, but obviously a lot of alcohol, which alcohol is not on the program. But yeah, really probably should try and stray off the booze for a bit, just to try and feel a bit better. But we're up, we're out, we're at them. I missed the cycle this morning, so obviously one of the key parts of the protocol is cycling, and obviously getting the miles in. I didn't get that done, so I'm quite disappointed in myself. However, marathon training starts tomorrow, so coach has put in the plan. This next week is just going to be a build-in week, but should be getting straight back up to about 60-70k, which will obviously be a bit of a shock to the system considering I've done absolutely nada, but going to stay consistent. We're not flying back to the UK now till the 9th, so I've got some decent time to train here, get some heat adaptation, get ready, and then when I'm in the UK I can really absolutely hammer it and get the big miles in, so looking forward to it. One thing that's always baffling is just to go to different gym facilities in Dubai and see how crazy they are. Just made the world's maddest building into a gym. So I did the final weigh in there, and it's actually 86.1. So pretty happy with that. So that's basically 5 kilos, which is a lot, but I don't think it will be as drastic next week just because we're starting, but still happy days. So just got back from the morning run with the Jameer Johns guys. I had planned to do an hour and a half, but to be honest that was easily top 3 worst runs I've ever done. Obviously a lack of running in the last 2 weeks, and then just general soreness from the run itself, still sort of not fully recovered, so a bit tough. But just to summarize the week for everything that's been happening with the diet, how I'm feeling, etc. So basically this week I've basically done 100% vegan, 100% fruits and vegetables, with the exception of rice and potatoes for the evening meals, which has been pretty good, to be honest. I must admit that I feel pretty fantastic, and I'm actually looking forward to getting into next week as well, especially as the training block has officially started for the marathon, so all systems are go. Energy levels have been super good, sleep has been really good. Noticed my resting heart rate is down, probably back down into the mid-40s, which is where it was before, so that's going to be something I'm going to keep an eye on and hopefully update in these videos. I think it's actually about 47. Previously it was around 45, 46 before the race. During the race in the last week it's been, you know, up in the 50s. Just obviously while the body's taking some time to recover. HRV is super high, so that's near the hundreds, which is obviously something to keep track on and see how that's going to go. And yeah, apart from that, feel pretty fantastic. In terms of weight and everything, I'm still hovering around that 87 mark. Obviously this diet is for an endurance athlete, someone who's doing lots of endurance training. I must admit, this last week, just because I've had my week off, I've not really been doing a lot. I did 2 cycles, missed a cycle yesterday, didn't do anything else. I did 1 weightlifting session, but now we're back on it. So I think this is where, this next week is where we're really going to see sort of the rest of the weights start to drop off. I am still keeping up my caffeine consumption, but I have reduced it significantly. But obviously that, I'm just trying to bring sort of the overall stress on my body down a bit, just to sort of help. And you know, I'm trying to keep the metabolism high, so the whole idea of this is you obviously fuel the cells and keep the sort of mitochondria healthy and firing, and then also keep you know, the sort of the more regular you eat and the more sugars that you have, hopefully it upregulates your metabolism, and then hopefully you sort of start to burn more fats, etc. So yeah, it's super exciting. Obviously I'm learning more about the actual diet itself and researching more about what it entails, and trying to make the healthiest options. The only sort of issues that I faced were I had some issues with the gas, like I mentioned, but I've added sauerkraut in just as a sort of probiotic, I guess, natural, which is hopefully helping. But yeah, really interesting, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Obviously this is week 1 of 4 that I'm going to do of the series, and who knows, we might continue it. So we're looking at going, well, we've started at 91, we're at 87 kilos, and obviously we're looking to hopefully cut a bit of weight and also increase performance. That's one thing I want to make sure, is that performance is not hindered while I'm doing this. So if at any point my performance does dwindle off, especially into the training, I will definitely be making some changes.